song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better. Well, that has really surprised me. To get something like that functioning in what is less than 5 days from scratch. Although it needs an awful lot of polish, I'd say in general the mechanics are all in place, using an A, a D and an E chord anyway. It's about 3.5 hours of extra practice since I last uploaded the video, and obviously I started using a plectrum. That was forced on me from getting a blister on my thumb strumming the chords endlessly down, and that was quite tough getting used to the plectrum. I wouldn't say I'm comfortable with it yet, but it's usable. I'll add some more to this video looking at the sort of things that I've been doing since the last upload, and hopefully shed some light on some focused and efficient ways to address strumming hand issues. And I shall also remeasure my basic chords to show the progress on those since I clocked them at 30 seconds on the Friday video. What's that? Yeah, it's under 15 seconds now. Possibly rushing them slightly there. Trying to get a decent time clocked, but I mean, a world of difference anyway from my 50 seconds. And my reason for suggesting 15 seconds, you really can't do that if you've got to think about it. It gets to the stage where a lot of that's being taken care of by pre-programmed movements, programmed in by the endless repetition. So definitely pleased with the progress on the fretting hand, and as we've just seen, the strumming hand is starting to take shape as well. So the basic chords, although they're tough and that still stings the fingers, they don't have to take forever to start getting those moving around. Like I said, I don't think I fancy trying to strum anything just yet with a G, C and a D, but with an A, D and an E, that's all quite achievable. Let's just have a look at some right hand stuff now. Now, aside from holding a plectrum in a recommended fashion, everyone does hold a plectrum differently, but there's general guidelines. My camera's never the best to focus in on. I don't see much of that. If we can see that, I tend to recommend coming out at a perfect right angle from the line the thumb makes. So if my thumb's going that way, my plectrum is going to be pointing down. I'm purely on the last joint of the thumb under the pad there, and underneath I'm also just on the last joint of the index finger, something like that, and that's tucked away. And the reason we like this finger tucked away rather than pointing along the plectrum is to let this plectrum rock, not loosely, in a controlled fashion, but this is a very beneficial movement. That's going to stop you bashing into the strings and say the fingers coming along the line of the plectrum. That plectrum can't rock backwards because there's an index finger in the way. If we tuck the index finger under, the plectrum can rock the same in both directions. Just going to check that video and see how that looked. Okay, I've repositioned myself a little bit closer in. So hopefully you can see this plectrum. The exercise I've used to get used to the feel in the strumming hand is really what I want to happen when I'm strumming fast, but doing it very, very slow. I'm just going to work on the inside 4 strings. I'm holding an E minor chord down, and what I'm doing here is sitting with the plectrum on string 5, and I'm just going to let that trickle over the top of the string and land on the next string. And I'm going to repeat that until top string, and then I'm going to turn around and come back up, doing exactly the same movement in reverse. And you will notice that the plectrum gets turned by the strings. As a string encounters the plectrum, it turns it so it points further and further upwards, and eventually that plectrum rolls over the top of the string but lands on the next one, and this is called a rest stroke. My inside 4 strings again, so I turn round and come up, and you can see that the plectrum rocks back and forth, but I'm not getting the movement in the plectrum by turning the hand to make the plectrum point up and then down. I'm allowing the strings to do that for me. And that to me has been very useful, some real 0 miles an hour practice on that, not worrying about anything musical again, purely the mechanics of what this bit of plastic is going to have done to it as it rolls through the strings. Point up, point down, point up, down, and if we... This is really what's going to happen as you strum at speed, but you can get that programmed in by going slower and slower until you can make sense of it, and then try speeding up, only then try speeding up.